guys can see that. Uh, so yeah, we'll jump into it. I apologize for being a few minutes late there. Again, appreciate the flexibility with everyone, and yeah, we'll kind of dive in. Been a fairly busy week. I'm very interested to see what happens when Utes slash DGods finally leaves. Kind of curious, in all honesty, to see how that does impact the ecosystem as a whole. Um, but I think we're starting to see like a little bit of a positive impact to other projects now that there's a little bit more certainty around it. Um, and yeah, I guess that's probably all I'll kind of comment beforehand. And I'm more than happy to kind of chat about it after the fact if people have any comments or questions for that specifically. But yeah, so we'll kind of jump into the week updates for this week. Quality of life updates for the most part went out today. Quite a lot of them. I think the one that I'm most excited of, I kept the screenshot that Dev included in the announcement here for Citrus. But I know people were commenting that they're excited for Claim All button that we've associated for missions. So what that really means is for folks that have a bunch of foxes, I guess it really depends. Even for myself, launching up to like 20 foxes can be a little bit of a pain claiming them all back. But whatever ones are able to be claimed, you can claim with a single button. So again, just like a quality of life improvement with missions, but primarily targeting those that have multiple foxes to make life, that much easier, if you will, in missions. I know Dev, just to kind of throw a little bit of alpha, had commented on a way of doing, like he's working on a way of doing a multi-launch for the same mission, which I think will be very helpful for those that have, foxes that are only eligible for a fame only, or like today, which I know I'll comment on the missions themselves, but having that any shirt fox mission and having a bunch of foxes that are eligible for that to kind of launch them all in one shot, which I'm excited for. I don't know how many other people have been waiting for something like that. It's not it's most likely not going to be an optimized solution to kind of toggle between, whichever missions are available to you. So you will still have to do, um, your own optimization for which foxes should go in which missions. So I will kind of put that as a caveat, which I'm looking forward to. As far as Foxy Lend goes, still staying on the missions front, added a refresh button so that way any listings that pop up that are new, if you're on that page waiting, you don't have to constantly just refresh the page. You can click on that refresh button, which should make life easier. Like I mentioned, the most excited one that I am a fan of is the light and pro modes for Citrus. I don't think there've been, at least not that I've seen today, and probably because I haven't been on my PC all day, but comments around the way that the current structure is for light. So basically, the default lending terms for light mode that people are lending on. So as a lender, if you're putting Sol up against a collection, the default options on there are based off of what's most commonly used for the terms. And it's a little bit tricky because there are a ton of combinations that you can have. So that's the only caveat that I would give. I think for the most part that I've seen, the ones that are the most liquid, that have the most history, that are the most common compared to Sharky, you'll see like the rates very similar in terms, very similar to those that are on Sharky. But for others, like I've seen, I think was Monkey Baby Business, or was a couple, there might have been two of them that I saw that were like 21 day by default. So just if you are a lender and you're using light mode, just make sure you check the terms that are on there, because I also saw ones that were like 3 day defaults. And that's like the main I don't know, I'll call it a warning that I'll give for anyone that is lending, is just make sure the ones you're doing, you understand the terms that you're kind of accepting for using that light mode. Advanced mode isn't token gated. It's just the ability for folks to have that more advanced view, and it gives you all the bells and whistles. So if you are a lender and you've been on the platform and you're comfortable with it, highly recommend the advanced view. But if you're new to lending or prefer that light style, you have that option, which is pretty exciting. Um, Listed NFT terms can be upgraded from your profile. So before it was just the amounts, but now the terms themselves can be upgraded from your profile. So there's just more flexibility for lenders versus having to go and cancel and remake, just because that's just such a hassle, in my personal opinion, depending on how much you're lending, of course. And there is a button under, so when you're creating lending terms as a lender, there's a button at the bottom that says like advanced terms, or I should actually double check the technical term for it on Citrus. Let me see, so I should have Citrus up somewhere. There you are. Um, so let's see under here, click on these bad boys. So advanced options. So under advanced options, that's where you're going to see, like, we put the private offer addresses location there, as well as like the validity of which type of loan you want that offer to be valid for, and you can toggle loans on and off and mortgages on and off. So by default, it's set for both. If you only want to create loans for regular loans, you can do it, or loans for mortgages, you can separate them from there. So that's just a feature that somebody was mentioning that Dev, honestly thought was a fairly good idea to bifurcate. I'm indifferent either way, but some people might not be. So worth checking that out. Again, from an advanced mode. I don't believe that shows under light, but I could be wrong. Yeah, that does not show under light. So you will have to be in advanced, and then the advanced options within there. And then the last quality of life update is that the Fame leaderboard supports direct buying of NFTs from HadeSwap and Tensor. What I will say is we are working with Magic Eden to get the ability to purchase from Magic Eden, but it hasn't been the easiest, if I'm honest. So our goal is to get that. We are in talks, but they're we haven't finished what we need to get from them yet, so just put that out there. And then I did also include on here, so I know I don't shout it out directly, but the both uh, Wormhole, if I can think to myself, Wormhole and Unfreeze Ray that was claimed from Archie. They wanted the style of the more older school Thor look, since they already had the um, flannel red shirt and light Viking for the hat, and it was upgraded to tier 1 for both as well. And so had gotten together with Meow and Pleasren and got together and ideated on this, and did a great job like reimagining it, with these other kinds of attributes and cutting it up into a bunch of um, different pieces, and then Pleasren going and animating it with the lightning of Thor and his hammer and all that. So pretty dope. It's on chain officially for that specific Fox, and that is the first double claim for the Wormhole and Unfreeze Ray. So I was pretty excited to kind of throw it in here for everyone to check out. All right, we'll jump into the other updates that we had this week. Citrus supporting instant liquidity. So I've talked about it on a few spaces, but just like I mentioned a little bit earlier, as a borrower, if you are interested, like if the price action occurs on a specific NFT, you can go and sell it directly, pay off the loan plus interest, plus the fee, and then pocket essentially whatever the difference is. It's very interesting to see people doing that. I believe with some Utes this week due to like their price action that had happened, but being able to kind of leverage, mortgages and lending in order to, kind of be a different or an NFT-fi product essentially, to be able to instantly liquidate. It's true for lenders as well. If you get a default where you can automatically sell that into a pool if you'd like to as well and get instant liquidity. Um, so it's only if you want the convenience factor. You don't have to use it if you don't want to use it, but we did incorporate it into our platform as there's just a lot of volume and it just makes sense from a convenience factor for a lot of people. And what I would say is, depending on the collection, like there could be a large delta in using that, so I would just be careful with how you do use it. No, I'm not going to do that. All right. Anyway, jumping back into it. The second piece that I wanted to add here was the like the short digital animation that Gen Zen Graphics had put together for us. I think it's been about like a month in the making, give or take. I know it's awfully short for like a month in the making, but we slash I had this like kind of pie in the sky idea for creating these like little digital shorts that highlighted like our tools and things. And so we just wanted to dip our toe in the water with them for getting an animation created as like kind of an introduction, if you will. And so that's really what was put together. So I added the video on here to also play it. I'll mute it on my side so it's not super annoying, but hopefully you guys had a chance to kind of check it out. It's very well done. Their team is awesome to work with, and I'm looking forward to getting more done from them. But yeah, this is just like a little bit of an introduction into the playful side of like what Foxton is. Foxton is like just the lore around where foxes exist. I think we've talked about it as Foxton since like 2021, which is quite fun. But this is just a way of kind of bridging that lore into, like an animated feel for it. And yeah, so I just wanted to kind of throw it out there. I know we pushed it out on Wednesday. It's gotten a crazy amount of views, which is pretty awesome to see. And I'm definitely looking forward to working with them to get some more of these kind of put together. Primarily focusing again on like our tool side, which I think will be quite fun, especially from a marketing angle. And next up, we have our monthly FFF raffle, which is live. The link for it you can grab from the announcements. We've gotten, David put over 60 NFTs. I think it's 66 as a total. 1,000 plus sold, probably more too, because I know a few of these collections were increasing in price today. In prizes, and I think we have it at 7,777 for tickets, 1,000 Foxy a piece, so pretty solid prize pool. We've got FFFs, TFFs, Dens. We grabbed some Oogies, Bastards, some Wolf Capitals, Ovals, Lilies, Monkey Baby Business, Smiths, Catalina Whales. We got Clay and Clay Makers, which we're going to give as pairs. So if you win, you get a clay and a clay maker. We got 4 Tayo pilots, 1 from each faction, 3 of the pops, 2 Degen Fat Cats, 3 Jicans or Jcans, I'm not sure the proper way to pronounce those. And then the last 3 we got were Liberty Squares, Liberty Square Squirrels. And I should say a partridge in a pear tree too, because that's just how it felt like to it for me. But a pretty awesome prize pool here. There was a mix between what we wanted to get to kind of support other collections that are in the space, especially on the newer launches with Oogies, Bastards, and Wolf Capital. But then there's also a lot of others, like Monkey Baby Business this week had launched their like lending aggregator page that I think is awesome. And anyone that's interested in lending within the Souls ecosystem, highly would recommend checking out like their data analytics for it. There might be something that we end up putting together with them, which I'm excited for. Uh, and then you have clays and clay makers. Claynos have been very popular in the space. They've been doing pretty good things and had a pretty awesome presence at NFTNY or NFT LA. And then just others that are projects that have been around that have been very supportive of us and vice versa. That I'm pretty stoked to be throwing in some prizes and supporting them to some capacity that we can, which is pretty awesome. So. If you guys were curious, I'm sure Wednesday we'll post this image out just as like a reminder for what the prize pool is, but I had put it together and just wanted to kind of showcase it at our voice chat. And then last but not least, we have our missions in Raid. The raid was for synth classes, which filled up in, I think someone said 37 seconds, which I think is either the fastest or second fastest raid that we've had fill, which was interesting because, like low key, looking at the number of foxes that are eligible for it, I think the total amount was about 50%. So it just shows us the level of interest in missions and raids, within Foxes. Like we know it's part of the culture within Foxes, but it's pretty awesome to see like the level of dedication that exists in holders, even if you're not like super super active within the Discord. Like it's just kind of in the lifeblood of Foxes, which for me personally, I think is pretty awesome. As far as missions go, solo, we have Thug Life glasses and shirt/t-shirt. Dev accidentally left in, I think he left in scarves, and I believe it's just scarves. It might be scarves and sweaters. So there's a ton of foxes that are eligible for the shirt/t-shirt mission. As far as the duos go, we have the astronaut and FASA, and then we have the double headband. And then for the trios, we have two Monster Trainer and Monster Trainer Den, and then we have the two Shades or Spies, and a Spy Den. And so Shades are the normal like black sunglasses. I know sometimes people get confused with that, but that is what the last trio mission is. So again, we had a solid amount of missions get launched this week. I know I'm still waiting on a couple of mine that I didn't time properly to end, so that way I can send my foxes back out. But a pretty awesome week for foxes to go off on missions. So it's really the main bits and pieces I was planning on covering from a quality of life and updates for this week. Happy to kind of open it up to questions, comments, suggestions that anybody has or that's on anyone's mind. And actually, I should check the chats too. I saw people were talking in Portal, so I'll start there. But if anybody talks over a mic, I'll probably take that as a priority. Ah, someone updated the playlist. Okay, that makes sense.
Hey Drax, it looks like Jay was asking about T3.
Tier three. Yeah, when tier three is a great question. Is also a question that Poet had asked me when he met in person, and I know we threw up the teaser for Cope. I have to figure out what our target date is. We hate giving like exact dates for things just in case if anything interferes with kind of pushing that. But what I will say is soon. Um, so I'll leave it at soon, and hopefully enough people don't holler at me for that. I would say based off of what we currently have, most likely tier 3 for FFF will come out before tier 2 for TFFs. And hopefully people don't crush me for that too. And also thank you for being brave and reading out the questions for others when no one else wants to talk. So I appreciate that.
It's okay, I understand what it's like to host. So I have the next question for you.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
go
tier
ahead.
3 for epics or for rares and epics?
It is both for rares and epics. So that's a great question, and it is for both head and body. Um, a follow-up question to that most likely is going to be, do you have to have both in order to get the extra chest? I'm going to start with a caveat of saying I'm not 100% sure on how we want to handle that, but what I will say is most likely it'll have to be one or the other. In the case of people having two rare or epic traits, you wouldn't have to, in theory, and this might change, subject to change, you wouldn't have to do both in order to get the extra chest. Only because of how restrictive that would end up making tier 3 for getting that additional chest based off of the combinations that exist.